Today, I wanted to bring you a list on how not to get SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. These are tips that when I first started my YouTube channel, which was not about homesteading, by the way, I had used these tips in order to survive living in a very difficult rental house. So let's get right into it. Number one, house plants. Even if it's a fake plant, there's actually science involved showing that even a picture of a forest can help alleviate somebody's mood. And there was some kind of a study done with patients in a hospital where patients who were put in front of a window actually got better faster than patients who did not have that view. Very, very interesting. Nature is very healing. There is such a thing in Japanese culture called forest bathing, and it's basically where you go out into the forest and you just breathe in the oxygen and you absorb, I don't know, ions, I don't know what's in the air, nature and health, and you connect back to the outside. And so bringing that into your house in the form of house plants can give you something to do, give you something to care for, to look at, and then you actually have visible, tangible progress to watch it grow. Now, if you're like me, you might have a black thumb. I've killed so many houseplants. My husband even jokes that he's surprised our fake plants have made it this long with me. But if I can do it, you can do it. So try it. All right, number two, get a pet. All right, that's not that easy. There's expense involved. There's a lot of consideration that goes into getting a pet. However, having a hamster, a fish tank, something low maintenance even, will help in order to bring you out of yourself and put your eyes on something else that you can help care for. And when you're not looking just at your own issues and you're also caring for another living being, like a plant, but in this case, a pet, it helps you to be able to not focus so much on the depression and the icky weather, and it gives you a little bit something else to do. All right, everybody says this. I'm gonna say it too. I will not belabor it. Eat well, exercise, and sleep. All right, you know it, I know it. Okay, but that leads us into the next one. Don't stay in jammies all day. I had a fluffy robe I bought at Costco, and I lived in that robe for a couple of years. And you know what? I answered the door in that robe. No shame. That's shameful, but I had no shame. I answered the door in that robe. My hair was up in a messy bun. There were times when I went 5 days without brushing my hair, and teeth brushing, that was a struggle too. It was a very dark time for me. So I know the struggle of especially being cold and wanting to just stay in your jammies all day. So that is something that will not serve you. A jammy day every now and then, totally fine. But if you're starting to have more jammy days than not, I would consider actually making it a very big point to get up, make your bed, and then get immediately dressed into your street clothes. It just helps you to feel a little bit more ready for the day. And it helps to create a nice transition, especially for somebody who doesn't leave the house very often, between, all right, my day is going and I am working and doing, and then to going to sleep. Get back into my jammies, get ready for the night, and proceed with that schedule. Speaking of schedule, clean your space regularly on a schedule if needed. That could be dusting on Mondays, mopping on Tuesdays, whatever it is, or just clean as you go. There's a lot of information about how an untidy space can affect your mental health. And you're already struggling with the days like today, or even cloudier and ickier than this, of trying to keep happy and positive. So, although I know some people do really enjoy the cloudy days, they're fun every now and then, but 2 weeks of it in a row, So, keep your space cleaned, at least tidy, regularly. And if you're struggling with a spot, or maybe your whole house is the spot of extreme disorganization, just take 15 minutes and look at a spot and think, what's one thing that I can put away, throw away, or donate? And then immediately take care of that thing. In my house, if it is disorganized, that is reflective of what's going on inside of my head. I cannot function in a disorganized house. I'm very minimalist at heart, but when things are chaotic and crazy, things start to clutter up. And it can be extremely overwhelming to the point of paralyzing that you don't even begin because it's so overwhelming. So take one thing and put it away within a 15-minute span. And in those 15 minutes, if you have enough time to do a second thing, okay, consider it. Community is my next tip. Have a community of people, not just online, although that can be wonderful too as a supplement, but it should not be your main source of peopling. Have people you see regularly, even if that means going to the library, provided you can get out and it's not too snowy and icy. Go out and see people. Go to the grocery store. Interact with the checker. Smile at other people. Reach out to a friend on the phone or over video chat. Keep yourself busy with plans with other people, regularly interacting with others. That is a lifeline, especially for people who are a little bit more introverted, people whose natural tendency is to retreat and just stay home and not talk to people for days and be totally fine. That's fine. But people like that, it's very important to be very intentional to go out and see other people. Which leads me into my next tip. Make plans to look forward to, even if those plans are for after the winter is over. Make some kind of a plan, a guys trip. I have a plan with some friends of mine sometime in the March-ish time to go out for a girls trip. Make some kind of a time to get together. Have a plan to do something, even if it's just visiting a museum by yourself. Next tip, read an actual book. Go to your local library. Go get a book that interests you, even if it's a comic book. Actually get a physical book of some variety that you can open up and immerse yourself in. And there's also some research into the fact that fiction is actually really, really good for your brain in a way that nonfiction is not. Look more into that if you are interested. Second to last point, get creative. Okay, this could be a journal. This could be a vlog. This could be painting. It could be writing, poetry. It doesn't matter what. I actually have an acquaintance of mine who is here on YouTube, and she has a channel. I'll link it below. It is just really a wonderful idea. It is art processing / journaling or something. I don't even fully know. It's like, how do you even describe it? It's really cool. Anyway, you should check it out. There are many different ways to get creative with what actually works for you. I'm not saying you have to open up a book and say, "Dear Diary." Okay, I'm not saying that. But what you can do is something that actually works for you. Final point, learn a new skill / hobby. Now, this could be learning a new language. What I'm doing is soap making. I love to make soap with a friend of mine. It gets me together with somebody else, and it's something that I could actually see myself, which is a point that I want to make. If you do start a new skill or hobby, I would recommend something that you actually can physically see. A new language is great, but it's kind of hard if you're not around other people and you're practicing back and forth to gauge progress. But when you make something with your hands, you can see it. I know there's another homestead channel and he does wooden spoon carving, and it's really cool. Now, those are just some ideas that you can get started on when it starts to get a little bit more challenging in the darker, cloudier season. I really am interested to know what your idea is for what you do or what you think somebody else could get into during this time. Enjoy the sunshine as it gets longer. Enjoy the days that are cloudy and yucky, because those help to give us so much more perspective on the sunny days ahead.